So I decided just for fun to document one of my 3-day camping trips when I go solo and just get to a remote space. Look where I am. It's such a beautiful place. It's rough to get to. The driving conditions, you gotta be careful. You gotta know what you're doing. But yeah, I'll set up here for 3 full days. I'll set up my meditation motel, my tent right here, and so I've done this all my life. Just kind of whenever I had 3-day weekends, and a lot of times I would just make time on 3-day weekends. And I would have this urge to just get away from everything. I would have buddies even as a teenager. I would have my backpack and have them drop me off at some overpass up in the Cascade Mountains up in Washington. And I would just head off up into the trees for 3 days. They'd come back and pick me up at a certain time at that same place. And we did that a few times. And as I got older, I just kept doing it. It's a sabbatical. It's mentally medicinal. But there's a process that always happens whenever I do it. And I thought, I'll just share it. Let everybody see what it's like. Yeah, let's take a trip. Let's take a 3-day. And that's 3 days here. I've got 5 days total, a travel day on each end. Although it only takes me like an hour and a half to get here from where I live. So, alright, well, I'm going to set up my tent. We'll just kind of take it from there. Alright, this is day 1 of my meditation sabbatical. Day 1 of 3 days. So far, I'll let you know that just been setting up camp, getting things situated yesterday. Today, coffee. But the mind is going through all of the things you just left behind. There's a sense of peace that comes over you from being here. No doubt about it. You kind of start letting go of things. But to be honest, I'm still like looking around for my dog who's always underfoot. She can't be alone. Looking to do things with my wife. Being here alone, it takes a little bit to adjust to that. Still, I'm still not quite alone out here in my mind yet. Anyway, today's going to be a day of meditating and walking meditation. When I walk meditate, some of that is really peaceful contemplation, maybe would be a better term. Where I think about my life, I think about the past, I think about things that need to be resolved sometimes. And used to be there was a lot of things to think about. Not as much anymore. There used to be a lot. And I would go through my mind and just try to figure out a way to make them okay. Try to see myself as just a link in the chain and not a victim. Anyway, day 1, yeah. I feel a sense of peace, but my head is still going 100 miles an hour. Alright, well, let's take a hike and just have a good day. I'm going to go up to that ridge line. Oh, trees in the way. Yeah, I've never been out to the top of that before, so I'll get out that way. Tomorrow we'll go top of the butte. So there's no real reason to walk anywhere, but this is a magical place. If you look around here and just go walk through it, there's no story in that except that the place has like this magical feel to it. It kind of evokes contemplation, all those rock islands all throughout there. got windy. That keeps it cool though. I found a little rock nest to sit in. So one of the things I do when I walk like this is resolve things. You know, you could always ahead of time just have the intention that you want to remember things from your past that you need to get a hold of. And there's times actually when we already remember what those things are. And I'll come out here and spend time trying to just see them in a different way. I separate myself from the event, whatever it is that is from my past that is hurtful. Certainly a lot of things from your past are not hurtful. Nothing wrong with all of the good memories and all of that, but the hurtful things continue to recycle as well, and to get rid of them you have to rethink them. So a lot of it really ultimately is being aware that when you're out here or when you're any place, you find yourself thinking through memories. You might not always be present, and when you catch yourself thinking of, you know, maybe a horrible experience you had with somebody, or in life in general, somehow, some way, something that you're thinking about, that you're bringing with you, that you're like, God, I don't want this. Those are the things you have to look at and resolve them. And this is a good place out here to do it, because you can think about things and you don't have any responsibility. If you can get a chance to get away somehow, boy, I'd recommend it. This is a very medicinal thing to do. This is my going into the cave, I guess, the Buddha thing for a little bit, but I realize that I'm very fortunate that I have this location. Actually, in the summertime, it's not usable anymore. It gets too hot and dry. In the spring now is nice. Anyway, yeah, when you walk around, that's what I do. I catch myself thinking about memories that I realize are things that I need to deal with. So I look at them, I examine them, I try to view them. I do. That helps you change the way you feel about them and makes them so that they are not hurtful anymore. When you get to a point where they don't bother you anymore, then it doesn't hurt you anymore. But don't ignore them. Yeah, spend time thinking about it. Resolve that stuff. It'll make a difference. There were times early on where there was stuff all the time to work on. And as time went along and it became more obscure, it seemed like, to get a hold of things, I would just be bothered by a behavior or something that I still do. And I would want to know what motivates it. What was the origin? Where in my life did something happen that makes me eventually do that, whatever that behavior is? And it doesn't come to you right away. You know, that thing where you're thinking about, I don't know, the name of somebody or the name of a song or something like that, and you can't think about it. And then later, when you're no longer thinking about it anymore, it occurs to you. It's kind of that same way here. You come out here and you're just walking along, enjoying the scenery, enjoying nature, listening to the birds. Got to watch out for snakes. And you know what? You'll catch yourself thinking about something from long ago, some obscure memory, and you go, oh, this is it. This is what it'll come to you. You just have to set your mind at ease and not be thinking about it. It'll come to you when you're not thinking about it. Then the trick is to realize that's what's happening at the moment that it's happening and go, oh, this is it. This is that thing that I want to get a hold of. Yeah, I do that. I think about, I don't know, relationships from a long time ago, or see somebody that I had something unresolved with that you think it's gone, but if it comes back to you and you think about it and it doesn't feel good, then you realize, oh, this is something I have to put to rest. You can't just say, I want to forget stuff and everything goes away. It's almost like you have to isolate on what the event was, at least for some things, maybe not everything. Some stuff it's easy to just let it go. Sometimes you got to resolve it. Remember in the Gospel of Philip, Jesus went in and cleaned out the whole place. If this is what that's about, then yeah, it's a fine thing to do. Catch yourself thinking about the stuff that bothers you, and then ask yourself why it bothers you and figure out how to make it so it doesn't bother you. And then just keep doing that. Sometimes it gets tiring. If you're like me and you had a lot of stuff, still have a lot of stuff. Okay, day 2. It's a cool morning. The sun just came up a little bit ago though, and it'll warm up pretty fast. The wind is blowing, so it's a little brisk. I love I love this time of year out here. Anyway, I'm out of the wind here. I don't know how this is going to work, color-wise or anything else. I'm inside the tent. My accommodations. It's actually fairly nice. Got this big vestibule up front. Converts into a small kitchen very well. That's the destination today, top of that peak. Anyway, well, you know what? I feel good. I'm feeling very relaxed, very much at peace. A lot of the things that you're connected to on a day-to-day basis, the media, the commuting, all of the things that you have to do are not there, and it takes a day or two before you're not like frazzled, caught up in it. Maybe even longer. I bet if you're really caught up with things, or you really have some high stress stuff going on in your life, that would be what would consume you on a trip like this. And you would know that that's the thing that you need to take care of, that's what you have to resolve. That's the stuff that's haunting you. Trips like this give you an opportunity to look at that and to keep looking at it, to stay with it, to not be constantly interrupted by the things going on around you, with media, with people, with, well, yeah, finding peace and quiet for one's own thoughts, for one's contemplative time is incredibly important. And yeah, I'm feeling very good. I can say that I'm at a time in life where I don't have so many things to deal with all the time anymore. My kids are grown up. The last one at home is 18, and she takes care of herself very well. So I'm kind of freed up these days. I don't have all the issues to deal with that I used to in life, so your mileage may vary. The important thing is getting the time and knowing that you might have a pile of stuff and you got to start working on it just gradually. There's nowhere to go and nothing to do, which is exactly right. Having some more coffee. I've got this this green pad, this little foam pad. Makes a nice little entryway here, but you can sit on it Just kind of meditate right out the door. So today's game plan then is to hike up to the top of the butte up there. Just to mosey. And like yesterday, it's only a game plan to have something to do. There's no need to get there, no rush, no hurry. It's all about being up here and having quiet time, so doing that right now. Yesterday went up like right there and then out on that ridge line over there. Today I'll go up the same place, but this time go to the left and stay on that ridge and go right up. We'll head right up the ridge line. So again today what I'm doing is just kind of being open to the idea of becoming aware or cognizant of my thinking. Catching myself somewhere along the way wrestling with an issue from life out there, knowing that that's something then that I probably have to resolve. You can see the ramp near the top on the left and the angle going up and the cut across. That's the route. Alright, here's the last little bit, just as we get to the top of the butte. Okay, here we are. There, you can see camp. Some isolated farming going on. And some snow left up in the Owyhee Mountains. Well, as you can see, we made it down okay. I was afraid of sliding and falling on my butt and smacking the camera, so I put it in the pack for the way down. Anyway, it ended up okay. Beautiful day. Found a place to duck out of the wind here to just talk for a little bit. There's wild horses that live out here. This is probably their wintering grounds. I think that means they've claimed this for their territory. Although they're farther back now that the snow is melted. They'll be back farther in the mountains. Alright, well that was a fun hike. It's been windy all day. It's pretty warm, but actually the wind keeps it cool, so it's been very nice. I'm very relaxed. I feel very peaceful. Alright, it's morning on day 3. It's very calming and peaceful. I feel very much relaxed. Of course, I didn't bring anything really big out here. I don't have anything big in my life compared to when I was younger. I've resolved a lot of things already, so. But yeah, I've had a chance to think through some things that I've been kind of slack on, things that I need to get taken care of just so that they're done and not kind of hanging over me. One of the fun things perhaps about being a monk is that you're just free of responsibility. You give up everything. I don't want to be a monk. I want to live in life. I want to have a grocery store nearby and have the resources. But that comes with having responsibility. Then, of course, you know that you got to take care of your lawn and your fence, and the more stuff you have, the more you have to take care of. And that's it. Actually, it's just some nagging property things that I've let slide. Anyway, yeah, today is another day to just sit and relax. This is my last day out here, and I'll be heading back tomorrow. Yesterday, went to the top of the butte up there, and out on that little ridge line the day before. I think today I'll just meander around through the rocks all over the place. I'll just stay low and go through and look for little cubby holes and hideaways. It looks like a very fun adventure, just clambering through the rocks, hiking around through and listening to nature. The wind has diminished considerably today. Some bird is out there expressing its displeasure. Or something. Anyway. Alright, beautiful day. I guess that's it. Reporting status, calm and very peaceful. Very relaxed. I don't feel like I'm in a hurry to do anything. Another day of just walking meditation. Well, my 3 days have come and gone. That was too fast. Today's travel day back home. I'll just gradually... Let me duck in the vestibule. It might be kind of hard to hear in the wind here, huh? Okay, that's better. Out of the wind. The tent is still up, so... Let's see. I've done this all my life, and I remember when I was young, it was very medicinal. I didn't have a lot of accumulated baggage, although I had some very tough stuff. I still didn't have a lifetime of experiences and things that I was caught up in. You know, when I was young, I wasn't so wrapped up in politics and things like that. That came about later. Life became more complicated. I would take these trips, and I can say, looking back on it, that the measure of success that I experienced on a 3-day trip, and how much peace that I felt, how much relaxation and awe, had everything to do with what my life was going through at that time. If I had a lot of stuff going on, 3 days is not enough time. You come out here and you just get frazzled for 3 days. And that's not exactly true. You'll relax a little bit, but not nearly to the degree as if life is simple. So I think if I had it to do over again, the things that I would tell myself is to find ways of eliminating responsibility that's unimportant to you, that's not good for your life, it's not quality for your life. It's just stuff that keeps you busy or mentally caught up in things. Politics. I don't watch news anymore. I have my own voting, my own choices, but I don't get caught up in what the left and the right are doing. I don't watch the news. I know people that do, and you know what? They get eaten up by it, some of them. It frazzles them. You know, maybe watch the local news or something just to see what's going on, what construction is like, weather, or what. But I don't even do that. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. I also know I live in a place that allows this, and that not everybody does. There are times in my life I lived in cities. There's times I lived on Okinawa for a long time. I could get away, but you didn't get away like this. Not everybody can take this kind of time or has the resources. You might want to save up and go to like a small camp, a getaway, a sabbatical of some sort of a meditation week someplace at some quiet, peaceful center. I don't know. Maybe you're a fisherman and you can go fishing and you don't want to catch fish and you just want to be left alone, so you go out there and throw your sinker in the water, but you don't put a hook or a bait on the hook. People just think you're patient, but you get your time. I don't know, whatever it takes to get time away. It's important because it helps you put things in perspective. When you're living life and you're bouncing off all of the things that are happening around you and your experiences are being played out based on what is happening in your world, you're not really in charge. The world is in charge. You are in response mode. When you get away from that ceases a little bit. You need to get away from response mode. What's important is to try to learn how to live life in such a way that when you return from these trips and you go back, less and less do you get involved in that response mode. More and more you stay disconnected from it. You begin to see how it affects you and how you become a part of the experience. Instead of leading the experience, you're just going with the flow. And that's what naturally happens to all of us unless we become aware of that and we realize that. And then habitually we still do it. We have to then keep going, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this thing where I'm keeping an eye on myself. Those are practices that we bring in order to figure out our lives. But right now, in my 3 days off, since I've had such a lot of things that I've taken care of and I have a fairly simple life, I don't have a lot of complexity going on. My kids are grown up and gone from the home, and life is just the things that I have to do. And my wife and I come out and hike and travel and talk out in places like this. I got a simple life. Your mileage may vary. I feel very much relaxed and at peace. I got an idea of some things that I need to go home and do. I've been letting them build up. And I realized that even a small amount, they start weighing you down. They take away your full capacity to move ahead. So that's why you take care of business that you have to take care of. Get rid of things out of your life that are unnecessary. Just get rid of it. You're going to be dead one day. How do you want to live your life? Anyway, I'm packing up to go, but I still get to sit here and look outside of my doorway at the scenery, huh? I'm in no rush. I don't know if you can see the moon up there. Anyway, well, thanks for coming along on the trip. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I wish everybody had a place like this. I wish everybody could go and get away from places where it's safe and you know what's going on. And you know you can just relax there and do nothing. Just have no responsibilities for the whole time you're there. You just fix your food, take care of a few basic daily, survival necessities and hygiene necessities, and outside of that, you got nothing to do. Oh, well, I'll do a follow-up to see what it was like after I was home for a bit. Okay, everybody, I'll talk to you later. See you on the next video.